Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Flea Market Finds. You'll have to forgive the echo, but I'm actually inside one of my Connex containers. Got to the point where my shop is too crowded and overflowing, so I didn't have room for this latest purchase. This is a large industrial cabinet. Now, at first glance, it may look to many of you like a Lista cabinet. The two big names in industrial cabinets that you tend to see a lot of at auction are Vidmar or Stanley Vidmar, because I guess Vidmar was a division of Stanley Tool, and Lista, L-I-S-T-A. When I first saw this cabinet, I thought it was a Lista, but it's not, unless Lista owned some other names that they sold these under, because it's a screaming dead ringer for a Lista, and I'll show you that in a moment. It's dirty. Overall, it's in pretty good shape. Some of the drawers aren't closing all the way, but I already fixed one of them, and it has to do with the little metal piece being bent in the back. That metal piece is what engages the master rod or lever in the back that's controlled by this lock. I don't have a key for it, and I think over the years that maybe it got into the lock position and people slamming the drawers shut while it's locked bent those parts. So it'll be a pretty easy fix for me to straighten out these drawers, but they all operate nice and smoothly like they should. They are removed and installed the same exact way as my Lista cabinets. They have the double arm design, so that it's actually like a tray that this sits in, and that allows these to be full extension drawers. You can open these drawers and see all the way to the back of the drawer, which is fantastic. So this actually came from the same estate where I bought a whole bunch of tools out of a machinery dealer, and then I went and was invited to the actual on-site clean out of the estate. It was a machine shop and a home with two outbuildings. It was a pretty big-sized operation. They had this cabinet advertised. I forgot what they were asking for the cabinet initially, and then they also had a couple of these Jacobs speed chucks. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about a beast like this. This is the one style you tend to see with the all metal ring. And this is the other style you tend to see with the rubber coated soft touch ring on the outside. This is a cam lock, I believe is the version this is supposed. So if you have a lathe that has a cam lock mount, you can put this on that. And what this does is this gives you a quick closer collet chuck. Jacobs, I think, invented these because I've only seen these with Jacobs' name. And some of these you can put the rubber flex collets in. So those are rubber collets. If I find a picture online, I'll shoot it right here. So these would be rubber collets that are segmented with metal sleeves in them, so that the rubber will compress and shrink the size of the diameter of the hole to clamp around the object when you close the chuck on it. These particular ones, I'm not sure if they're able to use those rubber collets or not, because I didn't find any rubber collets anywhere in the whole place. But what they did include with these two chucks was a whole bunch of collets that were with the chucks that they figured fit them, and I checked and they do. And they just look like giant 5C collet chucks, but they're not 5C. They're much bigger, as you can see. As a matter of fact, I have a standard 5C right here, so you can see the difference. So you're probably wondering, what did I pay? So we ended up cutting a deal for the two chucks with a big wooden box that had all the collets and all the stuff in it, and this cabinet for $500. And I'm happy with that. I would like to have been into this cabinet for about $200. I've seen them trade for more than that used, but this one doesn't. It does need a little bit of work, and it's not as pretty maybe as some of the ones you see. But I'm happy with this for the extra storage that I need. And the two collet chucks themselves are probably worth about $100 a piece, maybe a little more. But the big key is these collets. These collets are not cheap. That is to say that if you go to buy them used online, you're going to probably pay a minimum of $10, $15, $20 or more dollars a piece for these collets. But here's the kicker. Look how many collets I got with this thing. I got 26 collets By the way, did I mention many of these are hardened collets? So top quality. In addition to the collets, I also got other stuff that was in the box that they just threw in because they assumed it went with this, with these collets, and it was just laying around. But I got all different kinds of bushings and everything to make other kinds of things work that somebody made. This is a 5C collet adapter. So there was 2 of them in here. So there were probably lathes that had spindles that these would slide into, and then you would have a draw tube or a collet closer that was on there. So if I could identify what these went to, they might have some value to somebody. Here's another big old sleeve. Here's another adapter somebody made to take these big collets. So actually, I have one more right there. So they even got a closing nut on here. So if I loosen that up, give this a pop, that collet will come right out. And then also in there was this big, so I don't know what the deal is with this, but they took a dead center and they stuck it in this thing, which has a taper to it. It almost looks like maybe it was made to go in the spindle of a really big lathe. And maybe they, you know, for turning between centers. So I don't know if I'm going to find a use for that. You know, some of the drawers are wide open. Some of them still have some dividers and stuff in them, so they're you know, compartmentalized. And then these were all loose in the bottom drawer, and these are the front to back guides, so you can make long skinny sections. And then they all have slots in them. And there's a whole bunch of guy made a bunch of these out of aluminum that just slide in those slots and allow you to, you know, divide them up even more. Same design as the Lista, by the way. Alright, so that's going to bring this episode to a close. It's hot as heck in this Connex container, so I'm going to get the heck out of here. Until next time, take care.